Hello everyone, it's me, your host, Chef James MacInnis, and today I'm starting off a little bit of a marathon. I've got 4 videos already queued up to sit down and watch. We're gonna start off with 10 Indonesian foods you must try by Rockstar Eater. Today, I'm at 1,947 subscribers. So by the time this video comes out, there's no way I won't have blown through 2,000. And we all know what I've been harping on. When I hit 2,000, I'm going to put a poll up in the community channel page where you'll get to vote on 4 dishes. Then I'll cook one of them. And as long as it's a success, I'll do it every month. Which means by the time this comes out, you might be voting on the second poll. Who knows? We're hitting Indonesia. I thought that would be a nice change. So Thursdays I've been doing reaction videos to videos that aren't from India, and nobody watched any of my videos from China. Guess that's on me for trying something. Maybe I picked the wrong videos, I don't know. But we're going to try Indonesia this time, see if that does any better.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Steve from Rockstar Eater coming to you with another rockin' episode. And today I am coming to you with another top 10 list. And this time, especially if you are into Asian cuisine, you're going to love this episode because I'm going to be talking about the 10 must-try Indonesian foods. If you've never had Indonesian food before, you don't know what to order, then this is the perfect episode for you. Now, I recognize that there's so...
And that's exactly why I picked this video as a good introduction to me for Indonesian food. Because, as I was just saying in a live chat, the more you learn, the more ignorant you become. So in English, in Western culture too, people will just throw the word ignorant around like an insult, like it means you're rude and you're dumb. But the truth is that word only means you don't know. So right now, I am ignorant on Indonesian food. I don't know a lot about it. And he's going to pop off the 10 must-try dishes. Well, guess what? Every dish along the way, I'm going to get more and more ignorant. I don't know about these dishes, and I don't know what makes them awesome, and he might not answer that. So this is going to open up, mentally for me, a big floodgate of things teaching me more stuff that I need to learn. Like, I'm going to learn topics now. I'm going to learn topics, different ingredients maybe. And I'm going to be very ignorant on the proper usage of these things. So this is going to help me learn more by showing me what I don't know.
So many different kinds of foods that you can eat in Indonesia, depending on what region or what island you're in. So it's going to be a little bit tough to narrow it down to these specific 10, but I believe that if you stick with these 10 starters, then you'll have a pretty good idea of what Indonesian food is about, at least as an introduction, a beginner. So if you guys want to see what 10 Indonesian foods that you absolutely need to try, if you are to travel to Indonesia, or perhaps you walk into a local Indonesian restaurant, you open up the menu and you're figuring out what exactly should I order, then this is the perfect episode for you. So you must stick all the way to the end of this episode so that you can get the lowdown on the 10 must-try Indonesian foods. And also, if you're new to this channel, then take a moment right now to also hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell, because I put out these food episodes weekly, some of the best on the internet that you don't want to miss out on. So go ahead and do that right now, and let's get started with the first food, going alphabetically. Ayam penyet. This is Indonesian style fried chicken. Doesn't this list already sound so appetizing? It comes from the East Java side of Indonesia and is a favorite in the country. I mean, who doesn't love fried chicken? It's crispy on the top, soft and tender on the inside, with a side of sambal, which is chili paste, cucumbers, and fried tofu. This dish is commonly found in Singapore and Malaysia. If you are looking for one awesome chicken dish to try in an Indonesian restaurant, then the Ayam Penyet is the one that you must go to. This is the one that
So already, I love chicken. Everybody, I think everybody loves chicken, even if, I don't know, whatever. Everybody loves chicken. We'll just go with that. And he had two or three different plates there of it. One, he said fried chicken, but it didn't really look fried to me. The first one looked more like it was like, wasn't a very heavy batter or breading or, whatever. Like, when I say batter, just generically, I know it's not like wet batter, but just a generic term. The other one, though, looked like a heavier flour mix to like more of a, I guess you'd call it KFC, like a Western, like a broasted chicken. So that looked very interesting. Definitely want to try that. For those of you that don't know what a broaster is, you may or may not, but you have a pressure cooker. You use water. A broaster is like a pressure cooker for a deep fryer, so it's full of oil. And that is the broaster, which a lot of our fried chicken is broasted. The story behind KFC, Colonel Sanders, has Harlan Sanders, the man behind the Colonel Sanders. He has a gas station that sells fried chicken, but his problem is it takes about 25 minutes to cook fried chicken. And a lot of people don't want to wait that long at a gas station for fried chicken, so somebody's a traveling salesman's coming by selling pressure cookers, and he's like, "Can I put oil in there?" And they're like, "No, you can't." And he's like, "Well, why can't I? Watch me." And his cooking time on fried chicken goes from 25 minutes to 8 minutes. And that's the birth of broasted chicken.
I love, especially if I want to get some fried chicken in an Indonesian spot. Number 2, beef rendang. This is a beef dish that comes from Sumatra, an area in Indonesia known for its spicy and rich food. It is a beef stew-like dish that tastes kind of like beef curry, but without the broth. It is very tender when cooked right because it takes hours to cook the meat to attain its perfect tender texture, but it's so worth it. The brown gravy sauce is just as delicious. So if you had to try one beef dish as an introduction to Indonesian cuisine, then remember beef rendang. It is so delicious.
So that was a cool looking beef dish. When I see him mention the fact that it needs to be cooked for hours on end to get that tenderness, automatically I know that we're talking about a tougher cut of meat, maybe a chuck or like a brisket outside flat, those different types of meats. And I'm already thinking comparable to like a French stew. I know he's talking about, comparable to like a beef curry in flavor. We've got that. So yeah, you definitely have to overcook hard worked muscles because they get very tough. But the fact that they get worked so much does lead to a lot of collagen and connective tissues that, once broken down, add amazing flavor. But you have to do that long and slow with moist cooking techniques. Okay, what is our next food that we have to try from Indonesia? What is the next food?
3. Gado-gado. This is Indonesia's famous salad dish. It is a mountain of vegetables in a spicy peanut sauce, often served with fried tofu, boiled potato, and hard-boiled egg. Gado-gado literally means mix because there is a mix of all kinds of vegetables in there. Bean sprouts, spinach, corn, cabbage, beans, and potatoes. Even the peanut sauce they use in this dish is pretty fantastic. It's sweet, salty, and sour all at the same time. So if you are looking for one rockin' vegetable dish to try in Indonesian cuisine like a salad.
That looks really good too. So I kind of wish there was something kind of gross looking in the top 3, because most people will click off after here. And I could have a big, "Oh, that's gross, who could eat that" kind of reaction. Just for, clickbait reasons. But I'm not getting that yet. That salad looked nice. I like the eggs. They looked a little slightly undercooked. That's the way I like my hard-boiled eggs. That big mix there, all that stuff. So we have a salad at our restaurant called the crispy chicken salad. There's not really nothing fancy about it. But it's crispy chicken, which is code for breaded chicken. Anytime you see an American menu that says crispy, it means breaded. So we have a breaded chicken on it, spring mix, tomatoes, cucumbers, and then feta cheese, cranberry, walnuts, and apples. So there's a big mix of stuff on there too, and that kind of reminds me of this automatically, just seeing, he's got those eggs and the nuts and stuff.
The gado-gado is the one that you got to go to. Number 4, lemper. An Indonesian savory snack that is made of glutinous, or sticky rice as you would call it, that's cooked in coconut milk with shredded chicken or fish stuffings. With shredded chicken, it's called lemper ayam. It's often served with banana leaf or a plastic sheet wrapped around it. These are snacks, but it can also be served as appetizers in restaurants. In many ways, it's similar to a Japanese onigiri, but of course the rice is stickier and it tastes sweeter. This is one I would highly recommend, especially if you are into sweet, glutinous.
Okay, remember at the beginning I was saying the more I learn, the more ignorant I'll become? Looks like sushi. I know he said chicken and fish. I'm assuming everything's... Obviously, the chicken has to be cooked. I'm going to assume the fish is cooked too. So now I know that there's a Indonesian version of something like a sushi roll-wise with the rice and stuff. I guess maybe I could say more like a California roll, which is invented in Canada. It's kind of weird, but I digress. Now I need to learn more about these. I'm becoming more ignorant with every food dish he pops up.
Rice, sticky rice, this is going to be the one you love. Number 5, martabak. A famous Indonesian dessert that's equivalent to an Indonesian pancake that is sweet. It has the sponginess of a pancake, and inside is the filling, which can be chocolate, peanuts, or even cheese. It's a dessert that's usually sold during the evenings, although some restaurants might have it all day round. So if you are looking for one dessert to try in an Indonesian restaurant and you love that sponginess, that cakiness of a pancake, then martabak is the one you gotta eat.
Pancakes. We love pancakes here. We eat pancakes for breakfast. We eat pancakes all the time. The French have a very, very thin pancake called a crepe. And and correct me if I'm wrong, but is there not some kind of French colonial influence on Indonesia? Or is it Vietnam, or is it both? I know it's Vietnam for sure. Is it potentially also Indonesia? So a definite colonial influence possibly could be bringing that type of dessert, or does that dessert predate colonial influence?
Number 6, mie goreng. This is the famous Indonesian noodles that can be stir-fried or it can come in soup as both a restaurant item and as street food. And it's also called Javanese stir-fried noodles. It is very similar to the chow mein you'll find in many Chinese restaurants since it is wok stir-fried, but the taste is different. Instead of that soy sauce saltiness, it's sweet. It also comes with veggies and sometimes chicken as well. So if you're into stir-fried noodles, then the mie goreng is the one that you absolutely must try. It's a favorite among so many people.
And that mie goreng, that is basically what I think about when I think of Indonesian food. I kind of picture that kind of noodle. So that's probably the only thing on this list that I kind of know about.
In Indonesia. Number 7, nasi goreng. This is Indonesian fried rice. Yes, fried rice is so popular in Asian cuisine. You can find it in Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and Thai cuisine, and you can also find it in Indonesian cuisine, which you cannot miss. What makes the Indonesian version unique is that it is a bit sweeter since it incorporates a thick, sweet soy sauce mixed with other unique vegetables inside, and you get the flavor of Indonesian fried rice. If you like fried rice, then don't miss out on this one because Indonesia also makes some pretty good fried rice as well. It's very memorable. Number 8, satay. Many countries have their version of the satay, which is meat skewer, barbecue chicken, or pork, but it is an item that you cannot miss in Indonesian cuisine. If cooked right, these meat skewers are smoky, juicy, and comes with a delicious side of peanut sauce that you pour generously over the satay. It is a national dish that you can find as street food in Indonesia.
That's something I think I remember making in school. We had a unit called International for one semester, so half of the school year, and I believe we did make satays. He's saying satay, and maybe that is how you say it there. I know over here we'll say satay, not to confuse it with the cooking method of saute or to jump in a pan. So satays. In another video, I mentioned my not knowing about kebabs, and I thought that kebabs, like shish kebab, I thought kebab, you cook everything on the skewer, and I kind of thought you eat it on the skewer. I didn't realize you take it off the skewer into like a pita. But at least with the satay, I know you eat them on the sticks, so at least maybe, it's all meat on a stick, so,
as well as in many brick and mortar restaurants. It makes for a great snack. So if you want to try food that is, just a great snack all around, then this is the one you got to get. You can pretty much find it anywhere in Indonesia. Number 9, siomay. This is one of the most popular street foods in Indonesia. It's Indonesia's version of dim sum or shumai. It's a steamed fish dumpling with potato, cabbage, egg, and served with a lot of peanut sauce. You'll find peanut sauce is popular in many dishes in Indonesian cuisine. This bite-sized food can be found in restaurants, but also one of the fun ways to try it is through a street vendor or a bicycle vendor who carries a large steam.
We make something like that sometimes. We haven't done it in a long time. It used to, years ago, it was on one of our menus for appetizer parties. And we call them beggar's purses because we close the ends up. So it had the little dumpling dough. So it looked like basically like a bag with, and then closed at the top. And we used Italian sausage and cabbage for the fill.
At the back of his bike with all of this delicious magic inside of it. If you happen to like Chinese dim sum, then this is something equivalent that you could try in Indonesian cuisine. Remember that, the shumai. And finally, number 10, sup buntut. This is Indonesia's famous oxtail soup. This oxtail is made in a few different ways. It can be fried, barbecued, mixed with a light soup broth, mixed with some vegetables like tomatoes and potatoes. It is a dish loved by many on the island. The flavor is a bit light and silky, but it is very delicious and hearty. If you like oxtail soup, then the sup buntut is the one you should get at an Indonesian restaurant. In fact, I would say that if you order any soup, this is the one you have to try. Well, there you have it with the 10 best must-try.
Yeah, so that oxtail soup, yeah, I mean, we have oxtail soup in European cooking, so that's nothing like new, but to see an Indonesian twist on it with different seasonings would be cool. The thing with oxtail, and you could actually see some of the two things I like to point out in the pictures. One, first picture he showed lots of air bubbles, which food is spoiling, okay? If food's spoiled, I'm not saying that that's spoiled just from the photo, but if food is spoiling, it creates bacteria, right? And the bacteria inside the food. So here's something. If you stir food, if you stir like say you have a sauce in the fridge and you stir it and it bubbles, it's gone bad, because what happens is the bacteria rate is exponential and over time grows and doubles every like 20 minutes. So you get a lot of bacteria, which you can visibly see as mold sometimes. But bacteria eat, and everything that eats poops and farts. Okay? So even bacteria do that. And when they do that, they create a CO2 gas. So and the poop we call toxins. So you could heat that sauce up and kill all the bacteria. But you will never kill the toxins. They're always there. Because that's like the poop. So when you stir, if there's been a lot of bacteria, they farted and it will bubble. So when I see the bubbles from the first image of soup that he showed, I do my first instinct is potentially, I mean, it could have just been pouring it in fast, created some aeration. But I do potentially think that maybe the meat is already soured at that point. I think the second image of the soup he showed, though, you could definitely see some of the meat sticking out, and you could see a big, like, discolored. And I don't mean in an off way. I mean like just like the fat. You could see, so because there's a lot of collagen in that area, oxtail, like there's a lot of collagen in that area because it gets worked. It's not a tender muscle, which is why it's perfect for soup, because it adds a lot of richness. So that's just something else on there I've noticed. All right, so I didn't watch any specific one Indonesian dish in this video, but I now have a baseline 10 dishes. Potentially when I now search for more Indonesian content, I may base it off of this, where I want to see how that particular dish is. We could do that. I could spend the next 10 weeks doing one week a pop, or I might end up looking and seeking out a specific, if there's any famous Indian chefs. But either way, this has given me a little bit of a baseline to where now I feel comfortable, where I'll be able to ask the right questions. I'm going to go into Indonesian cuisine not quite knowing much, but now that at least I know a baseline of where I should be asking, what I should be asking, and how I should be digesting the information. So for this week, I've been Chef James, you've been you, and thanks for watching with me.